I'm getting ready to leave the beautiful Vulanga, heading to the next atoll over, which is only 5 miles away, but ironically dead upwind, so double that because my boat doesn't do well to windward, so it's about 10 miles of tacking. I will be in the lee of the atoll, so there shouldn't be too many waves, and about 2 miles to get out of the pass. So I'm taking off now, following the tracks that I followed to come in, and tacking up to the next place where I'm going to visit in Fiji, third anchorage in Fiji. I'm off, up to anchor under sail, and now I'm just slowly sailing out of here, following the track line I used to come in. Going about 3.5 knots, just the mainsail up. I don't want to go any faster than that because there's a lot of things to dodge around. Coming up on the pass now. So far not really seeing any current. I'm arriving around low tide, so it's a lot shallower than it was before. Okay, I'm full sail heading out the pass. So far so good. Going about 4 knots, so I think if there's current it's not too bad. Yeehaw! Coming out the end of the pass, this is great. I haven't had to turn my engine on at all. I will have to turn it on for the next pass because it's dead into the wind. Can't sail through that, but until then, looks like it's a sail until I get there. It was a pretty rockin' sail that I had. I had the whipping jib and full main up, and I was just going about 5.5 knots into the wind, super happy. Life was very good until I got to the pass in Ongea and had to turn on my engine. There was about 2 knots of outgoing current and probably 15 to 20 knots of wind, and the engine didn't start. Okay, so I'm at the pass, but my engine is not starting. My wind vane is broken, so I can't steer. So I'm gonna try to hand start it. Okay, so I'm just tying this line around the cylinder head right now. Okay. It's not turning over with the handle. I checked the fuel. I have fuel. I checked the Raycor filter. It's clean. The next thing I'm gonna do is try to bleed the engine, see if that helps. If not, I'm gonna open up the fuel filter and see what the filter inside looks like. I don't really know what's going on or what's wrong. It's not the ignition switch or the starter motor because the handle overrides the 2 of those. And the ignition switch is turning on, it's just not starting the engine. I have bled the engine. There is fuel coming up from the tank into the fuel filter on the engine. There's a pretty steady stream. So I closed that nut off. The next thing that my manual says to do, is something that I don't know what it means and there's no picture of it, but it then says to start turning it over. It's not turning over with the key, so I'm gonna try a couple more times with the hand crank and see if I can get it to go. But she did not get it with the hand crank, despite sweating through 2 shirts and ripping blisters into the palms of her hands. Eventually she gave up and called her friends on the VHF, who arranged to have a search and rescue party sent out for her. And now you can stop listening to this terrible, I'm not sure which accent it is. My very wonderful friends, for whom I shall give much rum, are coming to get me. We have 3 Zodiacs, which is really nice. I feel like they could probably do it with just 1. There is 2 knots of outgoing current still, but it was 3. It's definitely taming down a little bit. I bled the line. I tried until I had horrible blisters hand cranking the engine, and I'm finally just saying there's nothing more I can do. If the current wasn't going out, there's a possibility that I would just be able to squeak in under sail with the wind angle, but with 2 knots of current pushing my nose down, I don't think I would make it, and I don't want to dick around with trying to come about in a pass with current pushing me off the wind. So my options would be wait until tomorrow or get towed in, and right now my wind vane is fucked up, so I don't, oh my god, I'm cursed. Everything is breaking. Alright, I'm here in the cockpit with my pilot and my thrusters. One on this side.
Operation Rescue Holly. A dinghy on one side and a dinghy on the other.
I have no idea whether it works or not.
I think we're gonna make it.
It doesn't go up.
Right up, place.
Yeah, you guys are getting so wet. This is amazing. We're getting ready to go into the pass. Introducing on starboard the gentlemen of Bisho Papa, and on port Thomas and Marika from Scooter, friends that I actually met in French Polynesia. And these guys over here I had never met before, but the sailing community is very kind. And hilariously, they spent the entire time fishing, which was amazing.
Operation Rescue Holly.
Not under engine alone, no. I'm more of a 2.5 knot.
I hope you catch something. They're fishing. I'm navigating. Holly's steering and eating cake. I got it.
Once we got into the pass, there was some wind and current action, and the 2 dinghies on either side of me started taking on water. To starboard, there was a little less wave action going on, and they were doing better, but Thomas and Marika on port eventually ended up having to let go of my boat because they were filling with more water than they could bail out.
They started sinking. They're off. Oh my gosh. How much water? That's crazy. She's got the pot. She was dripping wet. Holly.
Thomas and Marika hung back to bail out their dinghy while I continued on under 1 dinghy power. It was then that I got a call on VHF from a catamaran that was anchored in the spot that I was heading for. They offered to up anchor and come give me a tow to give the dinghies a break. I immediately accepted. Why not? The more the merrier, I guess. As the catamaran came up to give me a tow, I told Thomas and Marika that they could tie their dinghy behind my boat, which was tied behind the catamaran that was giving me a tow, so it was like a long chain of ducklings slowly being led towards the anchorage and the land that you can see over here. It was really nice to have a tow behind a big boat because it didn't mean that anyone was putting their little dinghies at risk, and it meant a much faster, smoother ride for the final 2 miles into the anchorage. The 3 little ducklings.
Rescue gecko! Did you just put the tiller over?
No, I just lashed it in the middle. That's the best way to do it. Okay. Oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, you see?
For the last little bit, the catamaran detached and Thomas and Marika reattached, this time with no fetch, so the waves were fine, to bring me into the spot where I'd eventually drop my hook. It's a lot easier to have a dinghy side-tied than to be trying to do it behind a catamaran.
We never have the luxury of reverse when we're dropping solo. Oh, that's another thing.
And the rudder.
Yeah, but the whole of the dinghy is easy fixable.
Okay. It's all
All easy fixable except
Bye! Usually it takes a minute for people to go, but all I had to say was I'm
the
hangry.
situation needs to be dealt with immediately.
He knows what you're talking about.
You get it.
Okay, so I'm anchored up. Everyone's off my boat. I'm just putting away dock lines. My whole boat is just a giant mess. The last thing I have to do is dive and hand set my anchor. I got pulled onto the anchor spot side tied, but it was too hard for them to pull me backwards to set it, so I'm just going to go set it by hand. It's 25 feet of water, so it should be easy. And then finish putting everything away, and then maybe sit down and have some alcohol. I had Fabienne come over and help me check out my engine. We bled the entire thing. There was no air in the fuel line. And it turns out he said the engine was too cold to start. Hello, engine. We live in Fiji. How much more of a princess can you be? But basically what I need to do now is, I didn't realize this because it's never been an issue before. I mean, I was able to get my engine started in the snow. But if I hold the key to the left, that actually activates the glow plug. And after doing that, I was able to get the engine to start, which sounds like a rookie mistake. But believe me, I've been using this engine for 3 years. I had it in Maine. I had it in North Carolina in the winter when there was snow on the deck, and I've never needed to use this before. Didn't even know it existed. So, a lot of kerfluffle, a lot of fuss. I am left feeling slightly silly, but also, how was I supposed to know? Now I know. So now every time I start my engine, I need to use the glow plug, which is normal for a lot of boats. A lot of people do that every time anyway. I've just never had to before. And what Fabienne told me is that my engine is getting really old, and it just needs that extra kick to help it get started. So, hopefully, this solves the problem for the time being, and in the meantime, I learned a little bit more about my engine, like I do every time it doesn't start. Okay, we are getting ready to head out of here, and we're heading to an island about 100 miles west of here called Matuku, and this is our last stop on our way back to the mainland. I'm really excited to get back to civilization because my laptop is broken. I need to take it to the computer doctor to see if they can get the information off of it so I haven't lost a bunch of stuff. And I have a new one coming in, which hopefully will be arriving sometime around the time that I get in as well. I've also had a host of other things break. So the new method to starting the engine, when I turn it off, I hold the key over to the left and that cuts the fuel. Who knew? It also is the glow plug. So we go glow plug, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start. Yay. We're off. The trusty Piecan is catching up to take the front. We're gonna trail like little ducklings again to get out of this. It's low tide now, so it's really sketchy. I'm already in 14 feet of water. And when my depth sounder says 7 feet, I'm aground. It's not calibrated to anything real, but that's what I know. So I have 7 feet below me to work with, and there's a lot of coral. Out of the worst of it, now I'm just trying to make some way into deeper water, then I'll raise the main and head for the pass. We should be hitting it right before slack glow, so a little nice outgoing current with wind, which should make a smooth ride out. We'll see. You never know. The navionics charts are very untrustworthy around the Lao group. As you can see, the green part on the navionics chart is actually where I'm heading. There is a secret little passage between the reef and the mountain. Since I don't have sat charts and I don't have the view on navionics, I have put the tiller extension onto the tiller and stood on the stern pulpit so that I can get a better view of the coral, so I can kind of wind my way into this maze. It's a little bit intense at the end. There's some S curves that you have to make, but with this vantage point and a good sunny day, I was able to get through just fine. The anchorage was beautiful. Clear water. It reminded me of the Tuamotus. We almost immediately went ashore with Paikan to do sevu sevu in the village, and then arranged to do a hike the next day with a local guide.
Ready for the girl trip?
Girl trip up the mountain!
It's not my phone. You don't bring us around or see if we can take a slip or anchor good chill. America? Were you in the army there?
Oy, lugar ko royo ni may Nickel doon ya. Kita mo sa tamayon mo.
Ah, mendula ko ba? Kaya mga oh.
Okay, we're here in the village with our local guide, and we soon found out that the army instructor words on the back of his shirt were true to form. This was an insane hike, but it started out very innocently and sedately with a walk through the village where we met some lovely locals.
I like you out the window.
Wherever he takes us.
Oh man, you guys be careful for this one.
I know, he looks like he...
Walk me in the morning sun, tell me I'm the lucky one. I'm riding on the wave of an ocean that I could be brave. Is there anything good on the radio? Turn it up loud and let me know how it used to be before anyone heard of you and me. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, running out of town just to celebrate. The fortune's here to stay, a one-way ticket to a better day. A rocking chair and a glass of wine in the shade of a tree, and I'm feeling fine. There's not a lot to ask when life is going by so fast. One breath away, step up and say, hold on to what is real. The love
We made it!
feels like water in a glass. Don't
I can see the
try
energy.
to separate
Okay.
the ones that you
Marco!
hate from the ones that you don't know.
Oh my gosh,
Part of you that never could let go.
Keep going straight. You're making your own path. Keep going forward. Yeah.
I'm chasing
You're ridiculous.
shadows around the place. It shouldn't take long now in any case, as long as there is light, pretending I could stay the night. One breath away,
We came that way.
step up and say,
Oh,
are you that never could let go? I'm chasing shadows around the place. It shouldn't take long now in any case, as long as there is light, pretending I could stay the night. One breath away, step up and say,
We ended the hike back in the same beautiful village that we'd started in just 3 hours later, and in my case, with my butt covered in mud because I kind of slid part of the way down the mountain. I thought it would be fun, and then I couldn't stop. The locals had put together some fruit for us, and we got back as a gift.
Thank you.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. Is it your husband and wife?
My husband. No, this is my
Cousin brother?
son. Yeah.
Oh, your son?
Your son?
No.
Your cousin brother?
Cousin brother.
I-
Kakak sih, Pak. Kenapa kalau bentuk tadi sih dol? Boleh kak? Beras itu dol. Iya. Ta, you already taste this one?
No. Is this
Plantain?
plantain? Yeah.
What do you call it?
Plantain?
Oh,
We cook with it. Cooking banana.
Here, popo.
Very cool. Good idea to change the guy from the beginning.
Oh my. Thanks for watching this week's video. I put out new videos on YouTube every 2 weeks, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks I don't put out a YouTube. If you'd like to become a patron, you get access to exclusive content, and I like to make videos of specific questions that you guys may have about how I do things on my boat or different parts of my lifestyle that I don't share on YouTube. Thank you so much to all of my patrons who are supporting me and making this possible. If you'd like to become a patron, it's patreon.com/windhippie. And for one-time donations, I also have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. Merchandise, if you'd like to buy t-shirts or etc. things, also in a link in the description info below this video. Join the Wind Hippie Sailing t-shirt crew. And a big thank you to Tish. I edit these videos on my boat and I upload them to Dropbox, and she helps me get them scheduled on YouTube because I don't always have access to internet, so the editing and the scheduling don't always line up. So big thank you to Tish for also reminding me when I need to make videos, because I often forget that too. She'll text me the night before and I then scramble, but I work best under pressure, so yeah, procrastinators unite. Thank you guys for your comments. I love reading them whenever I get a chance, and just so you know, these videos do lag behind real time, so by the time this one's out, I'll probably already be in New Zealand. I'm aware that there is a season for leaving, and I think this would be pretty late in the season to leave if I was still in the Lao group. Whoa, the shadows are making my eyes look very intense. Okay, I think that's it. Patrons, I'll see you guys next week. YouTubeers, I'll see you in 2 weeks with another filling video. Okay, bye!